Today we are going to be ranking all of the Attack on Titan characters. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, we are going to get right into the video. Before we do though, I do want to just mention, of course, this is not every single Attack on Titan character. It is all the characters that are honestly worth talking about because there's a lot of characters that have come, there's a lot of characters that have gone. Just, you kind of get what I'm saying over here. With that being said, let's jump straight into it over with Annie. Now, here's the problem, okay? I'm going to be comparing all of these skins together. So many of these skins, and Attack on Titan is the greatest story in fiction, in my opinion. So all of these characters stand out from anything else that we'll be ranking, so I'm keeping in mind that I'm ranking them, comparing them to each other. I don't think that there is a D tier character, but hey, you know what? As we go through it, maybe there will be. Annie is a fantastic character. I love how long, like, I'm not even just talking about this story, but the character, like, I love what they did with her. I like the Titan that she's in, the female Titan, the first Titan. She was menacing, she was scary, she knew how to fight, and then I love that she came back and she was so humbled by everything. Annie's a really good character, although I'm trying to think, like, comparing her to everybody else, I might move her around, but we're going to start off with a very, very strong A tier. Armin is a very, very interesting one because now every single character in this show is so likable. Maybe this video was a little bit more difficult to do than I actually thought it would be. I didn't like Armin so much at the beginning of Attack on Titan, but as the story progressed, as he kept succeeding, as he kept showing his intellect, I grew more and more attached to him, and by the time in season 4 when he was done with everything, I think that he turned into like a really, really like badass figure, okay? But in comparing him to everybody else, I think that I might have to throw him into the A tier as well, ahead of Annie, of course. Now, Carla Yeager didn't get too much from her. It was a girl that wanted the best for her son. You can't not love that, right? She's going to go into the B tier, and I don't even know if we're going to have a C or D tier. You know what? Because we didn't get much from her, I'm going to throw her into the C tier, and it's important to note that C tier is not bad, okay? Connie is another one of those characters that I didn't care for, but as the story progressed and how much that, like, that story, I think I really got attached to Connie in his story once he really, like, started going off on his own to just try and save his mom. He ended up being a great guy. Like, he was there until the end. I loved following his story. We got attached to him. I think he's a solid character. He's going to go into the B tier. Guys, how can I not put Eren in SS, man? Eren Yeager is one of the greatest characters in just not even anime history, not even TV show history, but in the entirety of fiction. He's fantastic. The hero turned evil, and like, it's evil's even subjective, like, but the problem is, of course, like, you get into that whole argument with the Attack on Titan lore, right? with Eren, was he a good guy or a bad guy? Obviously he is a bad guy, but you understand his motives. He turned into such an amazing character, and he was from the start. Like, I loved like how determined he was. When Eren got Eren got hyped up and wanted to like complete a mission. He's one of those guys that you just really cheered for, and by the end of the story, a lot of people were cheering against him. I personally, as wrong as I know it is, I couldn't help but find myself cheering for him, and I would imagine that a lot of you watching this video could relate to that. Absolutely 100% going to the SS tier. Now, Erwin, he was a really good character. I don't really find him as appealing as the rest of the world seems like. He had one of the greatest speeches in history, in TV history. But as a character, like, he was interesting, but he doesn't stack up. Like, he doesn't make me think, like, okay, he's not on Armin and Annie's level. Again, keep in mind, I'm comparing all of these characters together. That's what the rankings are going to represent. It's not going to represent, like, oh, he's just a B tier character in general. When comparing them all, where's he falling? I'm putting him at the top of B tier. Okay, Falco is the only one that I never really built a connection with him throughout his story. And granted, we only had one season from him, but I think a lot of his story was like, Gaby! Like, I felt like that's pretty much why he was there. He didn't even have a love story with Gaby. Like, I don't know, man. I never really felt for Falco. Like, I didn't dislike him or anything. It's just, again, when comparing every single character together, he's at the bottom. So I'm going to put him into the C tier as well. Now, I have my notes over here. This guy, I always forget his name. Floch. That's his name. Floch. Didn't care for him. He's all right. I'm going to put him in the bottom of C tier. I didn't even remember his name. But to be fair, I'm really bad with anime names. Okay? Gaby is the really interesting one. Gaby, I think that I had the same story with Gaby that a lot of people in this show had. And it just goes to show, like, the storytelling here is phenomenal. Gaby, I could not stand. Like, I would have legitimately made an F tier for her if we're judging Gaby, like, just by her first appearance in the show. And what's funny about it is she was just like Eren, right? We like Eren, but we hate Gaby. And I love the way that story was told. That story was built with Gaby. But I think the reason why I didn't like Gaby and a lot of people didn't like Gaby, and I've heard, like, this isn't my own theory. I heard it from somewhere. I don't know how popular it is, but I actually completely agree with it. The reason why so many of us ended up resenting Gaby and Falco and their story is because we were so invested in Eren, Armin, and Mikasa for so long that for the first time we actually strayed away from them in the story. And we were with these characters for so long, but it was so important to get to know and build these characters and understand what's going on in Marley and understand the war, understand these new Titans. It's important for that story to be there. And if I were to ever rewatch a show, which I have not, then I would definitely appreciate it more. But I think it was because we were forced out of the story that we couldn't wait to watch again. Makes sense to me because, again, we liked Eren, but we hated Gaby. But the show, in the amazing storytelling that it has, had me so hyped up in that finale when Gaby made that shot. We hated Gaby when she made her first shot, and then we were just cheering like no tomorrow when she actually made the shot. Like, I felt that in my stomach, dude, watching that show. And she actually ended up making the shot and hitting the shot and doing something good with her shot, you know? Where do I throw her? I'm going to put her in the A tier. Bottom of A tier. No, she's better than Annie. She had a better story than Annie. I like her better than Annie, okay? Grisha Yeager. I wish we had a little bit more with Grisha. Very, very kind of like cryptic character. He wanted what's best, I think. I'm just going to put him in the C tier. No, I feel like C tier is the characters where we just like don't have as much of an attachment with them. Now, Hange is a character that, again, we liked from the beginning throughout the entire series. Had one of the best finales of all time. Going out on top, saying goodbye to Levi. Like, her final scene was one to remember, man. Like, this is I swear, man, this is the greatest story. This is the greatest show I've ever seen in my entire life. Hange is one of the best characters in the show. Always fascinated by the Titans, always fascinated by, or just wanting to learn more about them, to the point where even going up against war with them, it was like an incredibly beautiful thing to the character. So Hange is going into the S tier. I did like her more than Armin, Gaby, and Annie. Historia, I don't know how people actually, like, comment down below, by the way, if how you guys feel about this one, because I don't know if Historia has really a big fan base. She's just kind of like bland to me. She had a couple of good speeches here and there. And don't get me wrong, I didn't dislike her or anything. I don't think there's a character in this show that I like really didn't like, in the sense where like I didn't appreciate, you know? Like, because it's easy to not like this dude, right? Anyways, where am I going to throw Historia? I'm going to throw Historia into the B tier. Top of B tier. I liked her more than Erwin and Connie. I'm going to put her right there. Now, Jean, nothing really to say about him. Really nothing, to be honest with you. Just a C tier character. Again, more of the same. A little bit better than Grisha, maybe. That's what I'm going to throw him. Same with Keith. I like that he showed up at the end, but he had such it was important, but it was such a small part in the overall story. We just pretty much saw him at the beginning. Never really cared for him. I'm going to put him, again, at the top of C tier over here. Now, Kenny is another interesting one because I wasn't invested in the Kenny Ackerman story as much as everybody else was. I thought it was just okay. I wanted to get to more of the main story. I thought actually the arc with Kenny was the weakest of Attack on Titan, in my personal opinion. But in saying that, like, a weak arc for Attack on Titan is better than most shows ever. So I'm going to throw him into the bottom of B tier. Now, King Fritz, okay. Hang on. I didn't think there would be a character that we didn't like. What's there to like about this dude? With what he did to Ymir? What's there to like about him? Nothing. We're going into the D tier for King Fritz. But I hate saying that because it's like, I hate saying that because the story is just so well created. Levi might just, it's so tough because I think, how can you put somebody above Eren, right? I don't think you can. Like, yeah, there's nobody that's going to be above Eren because you got so hyped up whenever Eren wanted to do something, whenever he put his mind to something, like, he had the most hype scenes and best story in Attack on Titan. So we're not going to put anybody above him, but Levi, I think, is a close second. I loved his demeanor. I loved his leadership. I loved his mind. I love that he was there until the end. He was always focusing on his job, and he succeeded in his mission by the end of the story, and we got to follow that entire thing. Him and his determination was something to really come across. His voice actor's fantastic too, man. Really makes you feel it when he's in the scene. Levi is going to the SS tier. Absolutely. More of the same for Mikasa. But the problem is, I didn't like her I didn't dislike her, okay? I shouldn't say that. But if we're talking season 3, season 2, or season 1, Mikasa would have been absolutely in the SS tier. But then again, like, is that really something to knock her for because of the way she changed in season 4? Because she kind of turned into a crybaby in season 4. Understandably so, with all the stuff that she went through. But she went from, like, one of the... And it's not often we say this, too. Like, with the way that characters that are, like, really, really, like, those... I'll just say it how the internet says it. Like, strong female characters. So many people are trying to make them, and it just doesn't work. Mikasa is absolutely one of those characters. And the realism's kind of taken out in the sense where, like, you don't care. Like, it's really cool how good she is with the sword. It's really cool, like, whenever she's taking down titans, and you don't, like, ever compare her to other characters. Like, you just think, like, okay, this is a great story. She's awesome. She's cool to watch. Like, I think one of the best scenes in Attack on Titan was, of course, I can't quote it. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I actually had to do a little bit of a jump cut and go over to the quote because that was going to bug me because it was one of the most badass things I've ever seen in an entire show. The quote where she was like, Eren or the bitch I'm gonna kill. Like, that was one of the coldest things we've ever seen. So I think Mikasa from those seasons is so different from what she ended up in season 4. She didn't do anything. She had a perfect finale. Like, she ended up pulling it all together by the end. I think that hurts her a little bit, to be honest with you. While these two were consistent through the entire thing, Mikasa was great for the first 3 seasons and then kind of fell off a little bit. For that reason, I'm going to throw her into the S tier. As if that's something bad. Now, Peak, I don't know how people actually feel about Peak, to be honest with you. I just don't care for her. Again, like, I just think it's because we didn't spend enough time with her. More of the same for the Jaw Titan as well. The name of him is escaping me, and that kind of, I think that says enough, doesn't it? Is this something like Porco? Like, that's going to sound really stupid if it's not that, but I don't know. Regardless, I kind of feel the same way about both these characters, but they are more engaging than anybody I put into the C tier, so I'm going to actually put them both into the C tier, with Peak being ahead. Reiner was great. Reiner was consistent, and by the end of the story, Reiner was one of those characters that you really, really felt for. Actually, he just got better and better every single time that we saw him. He had some of the best fight scenes ever, some of the best internal conflict. Oh my god, where's Bertolt? I forgot about Bertolt, and we have 2 yelling us for some reason. One of them is going to be Bertolt, okay? Anyways, I just thought of it because of Reiner. Reiner is absolutely... Do I put him in SS, man? I'm not going to, because I don't like him more than Mikasa. That's what I'm going to throw him. So I'm going to throw him into the S tier, okay? Sasha, the only, like, comic relief character that we had through the entire show. You actually really felt it when she died, because while everybody fell into a deep and dark depression, she always stayed happy and just wanted to eat her food after a mission. It was really wholesome to see. And her death scene was something else, man. It was crazy. Again, further proving of the great story and the redemption arc that Gaby went on, okay? Sasha's a great character. I'm going to throw her at the top. I'm going to throw her right behind Historia. That's where I'm going to put her. Now, this is going to be Bertolt. At the end of the day, he was okay. He's like, he was always with Reiner, but at the end of the day, I don't think he's nearly as compelling of a character as Reiner. He's okay. Bertolt, this is Bertolt, is also going to go into the B tier. I'm going to put him, actually, I'm going to put him right in front of Sasha and behind Historia. Now, actually, Yelena, I didn't like Yelena, man. Was there anything to like about her? She wasn't on screen enough to really have a connection to with the story, so I don't know. She was alright. No, she wasn't. What am I saying? Actually, she might be... How can you put anybody below King Fritz? But she's going to go to the D tier as well. Like, she was an engaging character, but at the end of the day, like, comparing everybody together, absolutely D tier. Ymir is a weird one to rank because she hasn't had any dialogue. You feel bad for her, but that's the extent of her story, right? How am I supposed to compare her to everybody else? So again, a character that we don't really have much connection to. I'm going to throw her into the C tier right behind Keith. That's where I'm going to throw him, okay? Other Ymir. I actually didn't really like this character too much. She was alright. B tier. B tier. We're going to throw bottom of B tier. That's where I'm going to throw her. Now, Zeke is an interesting one. Where do I place Zeke, man? Because his story got better and better as time went on, too. He was very interesting from the beginning. The Beast Titan, once we found out he was a Beast Titan, that was something else. I liked his finale. I liked that he was always trying to get with Eren. I loved his story with Eren. I loved his story with Levi. But the stories between them were more engaging because of Eren and because of Levi. But at the end of the day, he was a strong character in himself. I'm going to throw him at the bottom of A tier. I don't like him as much as... No, I'm going to throw him right in front of Annie. I think that's pretty good. So, in SS, we have Aaron, we have Levi, followed by S tier, Mikasa, Reiner, Hange. Then with A tier, Armin, Gabi, Zeke, and Annie. I think that's a fair placement for everything, and I would love to know, and I'm ready to hear for it, guys, because this show has a lot of different opinions just on Aaron himself. I can't imagine ranking all the characters, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a reaction to the finale and a breakdown of when it happened. If you guys are interested in checking out that, because that solidified it to be the greatest show of all time, guys, check out that reaction and breakdown you can have right here. I will see you guys either there or in the next video. Take care, everybody.